to the way that YouTube does stuff. I'm happy for it because it allows me to do wide frame. I actually like that versus portrait. But today I wanted to first off welcome you all to Monday because it is definitely Monday. I can feel it in my bones that it's Monday. My workload has definitely been insane today. However, it gets better. It definitely gets better. What I find is that people, and we did this talk a while back,
Mm-hmm.
self responsibility. We did a seminar on self responsibility about a year and a half ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think people get it. I really don't. So I said, let me just revisit this subject. uh, Self responsibility is very important. As far as mindsets are concerned, as far as getting ahead, nobody likes that person that always has an excuse. In fact, that is one of the few things that just gets under my skin and, as my aunt would say, plucks my last nerve. The lack of self responsibility. It's never their fault. It's always somebody else's fault. And we probably run into people like this in our lives. These people that no matter what you say, it's like, hey, why did that go wrong? Oh, it wasn't my fault. Even though they were the only ones that had their hands in the mix, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
their fault. It's this person's fault or it's that person's fault. It's not my fault. How do you think that makes people look at you as a person? If you work for a day job, if you always have an excuse for the reason why something is not done, guaranteed you're going to be passed over for promotion.
Mm-hmm.
Guaranteed you're going to be passed over from that raise. You're going to be passed over through a lot of things in life because you become that person that no matter what, they're just going to have an excuse. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
how do you feel about that?
Oh, about self responsibility. Um, I feel that it is honorable, actually. Not only to other people, but to yourself. It's nothing like recognizing your own mistakes
Mm-hmm.
and working towards correcting them, fixing them, making amends, whatever it is that you have to do, versus finding someone, some cases, anything else
To
to
blame.
take to take the responsibility off of your actions.
I think that's where we get the term, throwing people under the bus.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of cases, we throw people under the bus because we don't want to take responsibility for
Mm-hmm.
whatever the hell happened. We want to be able to say, it's not my fault, it's that person's fault. And by the
Yep.
way, let me tell you something else.
Yep.
Uh, you know, Again, it's a trait that, see, I'm the type of person that if I do even look like I'm about to make an excuse,
Mm-hmm.
people look at me like I'm crazy. Because I am that person that takes self responsibility. When I had a day job, I never called my boss every 5 minutes. I tried to figure the damn thing out.
Mm-hmm.
And I only called my boss when I could actually say, hey, listen, I tried to fix it this way, and this way, but it still didn't work. That's the reason why I'm calling you.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's not an excuse. That's showing people, and this is why every job, and you've been with me, every job that I've had, within 6 months, I move up because I'm the type of person that I'm going to attack the problem.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to worry about who I can throw under the bus. I'm not going to worry about how I can deflect the blame from myself. I'm going to worry more about how can I fix the problem. And that is part of self-responsibility, is being resolution driven. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's insane the amount of time that people spend on excuses.
Mm-hmm.
You got to think of it. You got to make it make sense. You've got to project it or put it out there in a certain way to make it super believable.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of energy wasted
Mm-hmm.
when you can just say, I mean, I've been in situations where I've screwed up. One time I allowed a virus into my workspace.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is before I was like computer savvy. I just opened up, clicked on the email, and the whole network got infected. Did I blame somebody else? No, my bad. I did that. I did that. I don't know why I did it. I can't give you an excuse as to why it happened. However, it happened. What can I do to help fix this? And most importantly, what can I do to make sure this never happens again?
Mm-hmm.
Now, basically, our offices lost half a day while IT tried to isolate and get rid of this virus.
Yeah.
No, seriously. But see, my boss came up to me. He was like, you know what? You could have just said nothing. We would have found out eventually, but you could have just got away with saying nothing. But I was like, no, it was my fault. I knew it was my fault. So therefore, I'm not going to make an excuse for my actions. And here's another part of this whole thing is, who the hell wants to be treated like a little kid? When you give people the idea that you're never going to take responsibility, guess how they're going to treat you? They're going to treat you like a child. And no adult likes to be treated like a child. No adult likes to be talked down to. No adult wants to hear, well, you know, you did a bad thing, and be coddled and everything else. Because that's not adulting.
Right.
That's not adulting at all. You know, and in a sense, you're wasting someone else's time. Because just like my boss told me, he's like, we would have found out sooner or later. If I didn't admit to it, when they did find out, how would that have made me look? You know, appearance is everything, and how people perceive you is everything, especially if you're embarking on business, especially if you're trying to get to the next rung in the ladder on your job, especially if you're trying to do great things. Nobody wants to do great things with a person that all they have is excuses. They spend more time pulling excuses out their butt than they do trying to fix anything. Who does that serve? I'm going to give you an idea. It serves ego. See, because ego doesn't want to do nothing wrong. Ego wants to be perfect. Ego wants to have no blame put at its foot. I've been telling you, she's been telling you, we've been telling you collectively, ego serves no purpose. Ego will be the downfall of you if you constantly let it take control of what it is that you're doing with your life. You know, I just put up a video today, the motivational files. This is the motivation Monday, but the motivational files is something that I came up with, kind of an offshoot of Church of Real Talk, but I want to continue to spread that positive message and positive word. And as you showed me this morning, it seems like a lot of people are latching on to this positive mindset. I love it. I love it. You know, because if a celebrity can take almost verbatim what I've been saying, means A, you're watching, you know, and actually regurgitate it out to the masses, and thereby, see, a lot of people are saying, oh, they're not that celebrity status yet. I don't have to listen to them. But if someone else says the same thing, you know, and you look up to that person, hey, it's win-win for me. Makes the world a better place. This is always the goal. This will always be the goal. You know, I mean, how do you feel? Because you showed that to me, and how did you feel about my response? Because that's what I basically said to you.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much felt the same way. You know, your response wasn't surprising, but you know, yeah, it's still no matter what, it's getting the job done.
Right.
It's getting the job done, and it's encouraging people to take that self-responsibility to be more positive and to, you know, give outcomes a chance to be positive outcomes versus negative outcomes.
And you know what? I'm not going to say the person's name, but you got a whole staff, bro. You don't have to take verbatim stuff out my mouth. I mean, I appreciate the fact that you're tuned in. I appreciate the fact that you're listening to what we're saying. I appreciate the fact that you're latching on to what I call the movement or the revolution. When you make excuses, you can't have an effective revolution. You can't. You can't, because revolutions are not built on excuses. They're built on making changes. They're built on getting to the next level. They're built on taking self-responsibility to saying, I want to change the way the world is. We have to make a decision at some point. You know, are we going to be responsible for ourselves, or are we going to spend our whole lives throwing people under the bus, or throwing things under the bus, or throwing our children under the bus, or, you know, just throwing everybody up under the bus? You know, after a while, the bus isn't going to move anymore, and it's not going to be effective to throw anybody under the bus, and everybody's going to look at you and say, you know what, at the end of the day, I think this was really your fault. You know, we build up these bodies of people that we can blame for our lives. How do you blame somebody else for your life? How do you blame someone else for the situations that you're in? I blame myself every time. It's my fault. But you know what? I'm not going to wallow in the pity parade of, oh my God, it's my fault. I'm going to move forward and say, well, how do I fix this?
Mm-hmm.
See, if you don't take self responsibility, you'll never try to find a way to fix the situation.
Yeah.
You know, as we move forward, I know you guys have seen the post about Red Media Radio. We are expanding the family. I want to give people opportunities to spread their truth, to spread their ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be positive though. Okay, I'm sorry, I can't have negative nannies and Nancy's and negative Neds on the network. I want positive, resolution-driven people to be part of the Red Media Radio family. Yeah, we talk about a lot of things that may not specifically fall into that bucket. You know, like haters and judgmental people, but it's real.
Right.
And we always give a positive spin on how this can be changed because that's what's important to me. How this can be changed, you know. And after a while, I'm not Jesus Christ. I'm not going to turn the other cheek, but you're going to get tired of throwing darts. You're going to get tired of throwing subliminal barbs at people. You know, throwing shady posts up. You know. Sending my phone number out to like call you know, it's strange. Every time we do something new, I get all these, like someone just said, hey, yeah, I'm going to fill this out online with his number, you know, and I get all these calls from Albany and it's like I can figure out who's doing it, but I'm like, why, you know? I'm still going to continue to move forward. And you know what, at the end of, even for that I can blame myself because I could have just changed my number. I could have just changed my number and said, you know, screw it. You give that number, somebody else will be bugged.
Right.
You know. But, you know, as the day goes on and I got to get ready for Independence Day to make sure that kicks off on time, take self-responsibility for not only your actions, but yourself, the person that you are.
Yep.
You know, stop blaming people. You know, especially people that are not there to defend themselves right then and there. You know, stop throwing people under the bus. That bus has to get someplace. And if you constantly throwing people up under it, it's never going to get where it's got to go. But most importantly, you're not going to get where you need to go. You know, I would love to send this out for the exercise for the week is when you find yourself in those situations where you can deflect the blame or not take responsibility for something and essentially get away with it, why don't you try a different course? Why don't you just take full responsibility for it? I think in the long run, if you've been one of those people that just never takes self-responsibility, it's always somebody else's fault, you always want to blame somebody else, then you might see within the short time of a week, the span of 1 week, that people will actually communicate and interact with you differently because they will notice the change that you are a responsible person. You know, we get mad at our political leaders when they don't take responsibility. That is the job that we've given them. This is why they get a paycheck off of our taxes, is because we put you there to take responsibility. Nobody wants to hear a politician say, oh, there was really nothing I can do about it. It was that person's fault over there sitting over the Democratic section or that person in the Republican section. It's all their fault. It's not my fault. No, we put you there to make change. We put you there to take responsibility for our needs and our wishes. You know, and if I went to the polling place and clicked that lever and made sure, or pushed that button or hit that screen and made sure that you got that job, I expect you to do nothing but take self-responsibility and never give me excuses. You know, that's all I got. You got anything else?
No, I don't. No.
Okay. So with that being said, I am Red.
And I'm Latif.
And you've been listening to Motivation Monday right here on YouTube. Whether you're joining us now or later, definitely appreciate your time. But here's the rub. Start taking responsibility this week. Your life will change. Trust me. Your whole mindset. You'll feel good about yourself. All right? So you already know. Enjoy your week. Keep it locked right here on redmediaradio.com. Got anything else?
Nope.
Okay. It's time to go. I'm tired. I'm beat to hell. All right. See you guys.